Hello there, well welcome to day 3 of the Great Guitar Build Off 2020 unofficial challenge. I'm all ready to get going, so let's go and build a guitar. Okay, today I want to cut out the body blank. I've got the template ready, and there's the wood. I want to cut the neck down to the proper thickness and cut the fretboard to size and hopefully stick the fretboard on. That's quite a bit to get done, so I better get started. Okay, so I'm going to mark out the template on this sapele. I want this on the back. I had some paper stuck on it which I need to plane off, but otherwise it looks alright. So I'll just put that on there. I'll line the centre line up with the join. Looks pretty good. And I'm using a pretty thick pencil because I don't want to go too close to the edge. I don't want to cut into the actual sort of template shape. I'll do the final shaping on the belt sander. So I need to leave a little bit of extra. That looks okay. To the bandsaw. I had a big birthday last year, and with the money that I got, I treated myself to this pillar drill, Axminster Craft pillar drill. This brilliant bandsaw from Axminster to complement the bandsaw that I've used for many years, which is this little Axminster hobby bandsaw. Now, when I started making guitars about 15 years ago, everything was done with hand tools, so a jigsaw to cut out the shape of the guitar and hand planes. So I've been really lucky over the years to have built up some equipment that really does help speed up the job, and this little bandsaw is ideal for cutting out shapes. So that's what I'm going to use today. I'm using a narrow blade to get round some of these curves. That looks really nice. I'm going to use the belt sander to go in much closer, but once I've got the olive book match top on the top of it, but otherwise that's really good. Yeah, and these little offcuts are ideal for sticking under the corner of a table when it's wobbling. Now then, I want to cut the neck to the right thickness. My measurements say that basically I need to end up with this being 17mm deep and this being 5mm. So let's just check that. It's just over 5mm, so that's fine, because by the time I've sanded it down, shaped it, radiused it, etc., it'll be right. Okay, so that means I'm working at a depth of 17. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut it at about 20, and then I'm just going to sand the rest down or plane it down. So I'm going to mark 20 there, 20 at this end, and just join those two up. I need to sort out the shape of this, get the right slope, so for that I need a protractor. Draw a line across there, just put a mark in the middle, line that up there, and mark 8 degrees there. Okay, so now I've got a slope template I can use. I'm going to mark the position where the nut is down the side here. So the nut position is there. So I'm just going to draw a line down here. I want the headstock to drop back just after the nut. So I'm going to just, again, do this by eye. It's not tremendously accurate, but I'm going to put another line there. And that's the point at which the headstock's got to drop back at. So take my template, place it on there, just line that up with the top of there, and then I'm just going to just draw a line. Let's see what happens. Obvious mistake there, that's much too steeper angle, so obviously my 8 degrees is not going to work. So let's work it around the other way. I need at least 12 mil there. You can see my train of thought here. Right, so I need at least 12 mil there, so let's mark 12 mil. Get me a piece of cardboard, run that straight across to the position at the back of the nut there. I'll move the camera around, hope you can see that. I'm just going to rub out the line I don't want to use. So that's the slope I need to cut back at. Now I've marked the underside of the headstock just to give me a guide. Before I cut this on the bandsaw, I just want to show you a trick. I like to use the scale on the side of the bandsaw to get accurate measurements. But there's a problem. Every time you change the blade, the scale is out of kilter and you've got to be able to make an adjustment, and you can't with this Axminster bandsaw make that adjustment on the fence. So what I've done, I've cut a strip of metal which I've cut from just the side of one of these pieces from an old greenhouse, and actually put a slot in it down there and bolted it to the original scale, and then I've just got one of these stick-on rulers and stuck that on. Now if you can see just there's an adjustment, so now every time I change the blade I can actually line this up on the blade and then zero the scale using that adjustment, and it saves so much time. Unfortunately there's a dip so that this piece of metal fits underneath the fence without any bother. Well, judging by the burn marks and the stink of smoke around here, I think the bandsaw blade is probably knackered. But anyway, I've cut out the shape of the neck. Obviously needs a lot of planing, sanding, but at least it's a start. Right, so my next job will be to cut this fretboard down to size. Okay, so according to my notes, at the nut end I need a width of 44 mil, and at fret 21 I need a width of 56 mil. Now I'm going to use this binding, and this binding, it goes down to about 1 millimeter, so I'm going to allow 2 millimeters extra. So instead of 44 I shall cut that to 42 and this 54. So I'll just mark those up now. So I've now got the fretboard, the neck and the body roughly cut to size. Now it's get down to planing and sanding to get it to the final shapes. I'm going to leave this to one side, the body, until the book match tops are ready to glue on, and then I shall finish the shaping of that. But I shall get on with the neck now. Before I start attacking the sides of this neck, I want to put some clear marks on so I don't go too narrow. This is the great guitar build off, so I think I'll treat myself to a new 60 grit. There we go. I get on finishing off the neck, I think I need to sort out my levelling beam. Not the neatest job I've ever done, but I think they'll suffice for this network. I'm going to have a go at planing this fretboard down to the line. I've had problems in the past with walnut in that it's quite brittle and sometimes it chips out, so I'm going to be really careful with this. Now I've got a sharp blade and set it really low. Okay, I've spent quite a time trying to get an edge between the fretboard and the neck. As usual, I've probably carved a bit too much off the neck, but I think I'm going to get away with it. What I've done, I've slightly chamfered the neck down a bit on the edges towards, the fretboard down towards the neck. So I think it's going to be enough to give the binding some sort of traction. Okay, my camera battery's about to give up, and I think so am I today, but I think I've achieved a reasonable amount. I've done some of the more fiddly parts of the guitar, so the fretboard is now cut and ready to fit. The neck is all shaped on the top there, ready for the fretboard to be glued on, but I notice there's a bit of a back bow on it now, so I'm going to leave this to settle for a couple of days before I do anything else with it. And I've got the body blank ready. What I'm just waiting for is the olive tops to settle down a bit, then I'll join those together and cut out the shape, and then I can glue that onto there. Anyway, thank you very much for watching again. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you soon for day 4. See you.